Saturday night, late August. The world is holding its breath, the missiles are loaded. The ships are in position, and everybody's waiting to see what happens next. This is the story of how one phone call, one late night message changed the course of a war that had already gone on for months. Trump's 11 p.m. meltdown. That's what they're calling it. The night he canceled the Iran strike, after that Saudi pressure call came through. Let's take it back for months. The U.S. and Iran had been locked in a slow-burning conflict ever since a memorandum of understanding signed back in June fell apart. Iran started hitting cargo ships in the Strait of Hormuz, and the United States responded with a steady military campaign, strike after strike, day after day. 13 straight days of bombing before a pause, stockpiles running low, interceptors stretched thin, and the world watching every headline for what comes next. Then came Saturday night. Trump sits down, opens up Truth Social and types out a message the whole world would be reading by morning. He says the USA is locked and loaded, ready to go. Levels of military power not seen since World War II. Big words, heavy words, the kind that make markets shake and allies nervous. But then, in the very same post, the turn, he says Iran and other Middle Eastern countries reached out, asking him to hold off, because the perimeters of a deal had already been agreed to. This is the story, the real story, not something made up for the cameras. Behind the scenes, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia picks up the phone. Mohammed bin Salman, reaching out directly, reinforcing what the region has wanted for months. De-escalation, a stop to the bloodshed, an end to the disruption of the waters that half the world's oil runs through. Saudi state media confirms the call took place. This wasn't a rumor, this wasn't spin, this was diplomacy playing out in real time under pressure. At the 11th hour, Trump's 11 p.m. meltdown. He cancels the Iran strike after the Saudi pressure call. And in his own words, he says he's doing it for the future benefit of the world and for the survival of a successful and prosperous Iran. He says the deal includes the total opening of the Strait of Hormuz and an end to Iran's nuclear threat. He says Israel is standing with them in that same commitment. Big promises tied to a deal that still isn't signed, still isn't locked in stone. But here's where the story gets deeper. This wasn't the first time those words came out of his mouth. Days earlier, on a Friday, the U.S. had already paused its strikes. After 13 days straight of bombing, right as reports started spreading about depleted missile stockpiles, his own national security advisor came out and downplayed it, insisted the military had everything it needed, but the questions didn't stop. And in the middle of all that uncertainty, Trump posted AI-generated images online, explosions, oil tankers, dramatic scenes, while behind closed doors the real negotiations were happening quietly, through phone calls, through allies, through pressure nobody could see on camera. So when the cancellation came Saturday night, it wasn't just one man changing his mind. It was the weight of a 5-month war, the strain on allies, the economic pressure building on every side of that region. Analysts say Iran's military has been worn down after months of conflict, but it still has punched. Deadly strikes on U.S. forces in the past month prove that nobody was walking away from this clean. Everybody had something to lose. Trump's 11 p.m. meltdown. That's the headline, that's the moment. But the real story is bigger than one late night post. It's about a region trying to pull itself back from the edge, about a Saudi crown prince picking up the phone at just the right time, about a war that's cost more than anyone wants to admit, and a deal that still has to be rapidly reached before any of these promises mean anything at all. The strait, the missiles, the negotiations, they're all still sitting right there, unresolved, waiting for the next move. And whether this becomes peace or just another pause,
before the next escalation. That part of the story.
Was this a real ceasefire? Or just another temporary hold, the kind that's happened before in this same conflict? But because this wasn't the first pause. Back in July, strikes had already stopped once, only to start right back up again days later. So when people heard the news Saturday night, there was relief, but there was also caution. Nobody wanted to celebrate too early. Inside Washington, officials were fielding questions all weekend. Reporters wanted to know exactly what rapidly making a deal meant, and what would happen if that deal fell apart. Trump had already built in his own warning, right there in the same message, locked and loaded, ready to go if talks crumble again. So this wasn't a full stand down. This was a pause with a countdown attached to it, a window that could close just as fast as it opened. Meanwhile, across the region, the human side of the story kept unfolding too. Months of strikes had left their mark on infrastructure, on shipping routes through the Strait of Hormuz, on ordinary families caught in the middle of a conflict they didn't start and couldn't stop. Reports had already surfaced about the toll this war was taking, about strikes that hit far closer to home than military targets ever should. That's part of why the pressure from Saudi Arabia mattered so much. This wasn't just about oil or shipping lanes or geopolitics on a map. It was about a region that had absorbed months of damage and wanted a way out before things got worse. And that's really what the story comes down to. Pressure from every direction, converging at just the right moment. Pressure from pleated stockpiles, pressure from allies tired of watching the region burn. Pressure from a crown prince willing to pick up the phone at the right time and say enough is enough. Pressure from a world economy already feeling the strain of a block strike and disrupted shipping. All of that pressure landed on one late night decision, one post, one pause. Trump's 11 p.m. meltdown. That's the label everyone's using. But strip away the headline, and what's left is a moment where diplomacy, exhaustion, and self-interest all pulled in the same direction at the same time. Nobody knows yet if it holds. Nobody knows if the deal gets signed, or if the Strait of Hormuz actually opens back up the way it was promised. What we do know is that for one night, at least, the missiles stayed grounded, the ships stayed in port, and the world got a little more time to see if peace was actually possible.